32,000 gun-related deaths annually in the United States. It's the equivalent of wiping out the entire city of Jackson, Michigan every year. Now, this sounds terrifying when you hear that. But once you break down the numbers and look at them in perspective, not only is it not terrifying, it's not unusual. Gun control groups like to inflate these numbers in order to instill fear in the population and make it easier to enact gun laws. Fortunately, Michigan legislators have caught on to this, and they're starting to reduce the number of restrictive laws we have here in Michigan. According to what you didn't know about U.S. gun stats at thoughtcode.com, there are approximately 32,000 gun-related deaths annually here in the United States. Of those, 19,000 are suicide. Guns are irrelevant to the suicide rate. It doesn't matter if you restrict guns or not. If somebody wants to commit suicide, they commit suicide. So we can eliminate that number from these stats. 1,000 of these are accidental. 11,000 are from homicide. Now, according to the CDC, 80% of homicides are gang or drug related. When you subtract these numbers, you come up with 2,200 gun homicides per 325 million people. Now, compare these to the UK, who has draconian gun control laws where it's almost impossible for civilian gun ownership. They have a murder rate of 0.92 per 100,000 with a population 1/5 of ours. They have no gun ownership, higher murder rate, 1/5 our population. Let's go on to gun ownership stats. According to Guns in America by the Numbers, January 2016, there's estimates anywhere from 300 million to 600 million guns in America according to sales records. Now that's 1 or 2 guns for every person in the United States, man, woman, and child. Michigan has a 38.4% gun ownership rate. There are approximately 24 trillion rounds of ammunition in the United States. What this results in, the highest civilian gun ownership rate in the world. Gun control myths, according to Gun Control Myths That Won't Die, October 2015, more guns equal more crime? No, they do not. According to that, permit rate is up 156% in the United States. At the same time, the murder rate has gone down 25%. Regression analysis has shown there is a strong correlation between permit rates and the murder rate declining. Another myth that continues is that CPL holders don't stop mass shootings. This simply isn't true. 27 July 2015, a 60-year-old man was stopped for firing on a crowd, including targeting a 1-year-old child by a CPL holder. April 2015, an Uber driver was driving down the road, saw a man draw a gun and start shooting at a crowd. The Uber driver got out, drew his pistol, and shot the man, stopping the mass shooting. 22 September 2015, a senior citizen, 63-year-old man, was in a Warren Bank in Michigan and stopped an armed bank robbery. Gun-free zones prevent gun violence. This is not true. Criminals do not obey laws. That's why they're criminals. If a criminal wants to take a gun in a gun-free zone, he's going to do it. No law is going to stop him. Criminals target gun-free zones. Some of the mass shootings that happened recently happened in schools, happened in bars, happened in clubs, happened in any area that's been marked as a gun-free zone. It's Michigan legislation action that's being taken to reduce these restrictions. Laws are being drafted to eliminate the CPL requirement. What this means is you no longer be required to have a class or a license to conceal carry. Now you should get a class. Everybody should train. That's important. Safety is important. However, what this is going to do is allow things like our senior citizens who might be too infirm to take the class or pass it to still be able to exercise their right to self-defense and concealed carry. You shouldn't have your rights restricted simply because you're old. Eliminating the pistol registration requirement. This is going to help prevent where you might have a police chief who issues these licenses who may not be gun friendly and therefore arbitrarily deny you your constitutional right to carry. Expanding where you can carry. This is going to allow you to carry into schools, churches, hospitals, other gun-free zones. Just because you enter these zones, which are targeted by criminals should not restrict your right to self-defense. Banning concealed carry in police stations. A man shot up Dearborn Police Station about a year ago. This will enact stronger penalties and therefore hopefully deter this. Banning local laws. This will do is prevent one city from enacting stricter laws while another does not. So, for example, you won't live in Garden City, Michigan and understand the law to be one way, travel to Westland, and then suddenly be illegally carrying just because you entered the city. All the laws across the entire state should be uniform. Increasing penalties for allowing access to minors. This is a no-brainer. Children should not get access to firearms. This will do is enact stricter penalties so in the event that a child does get one and injures or kills themselves or somebody else, that the people who allow them access will be taking severe, stiff penalties and therefore hopefully deter others from doing the same. Conclusion. Gun-related deaths are low, as demonstrated by the numbers. When you take them into perspective, 2,200 for 325 million people is very, very low. Myths will continue to persist. They'll be continue to be pushed by gun control groups as well as the media. Legislation, however, despite this, is improving. What we need is smart legislation to allow us to protect ourselves more freely. What does this mean for seniors living in Michigan? Well, it means guns are an equalizer. Your 90-pound grandma who goes to the ATM to take out money to go have dinner will now have a firearm if she wants and be able to protect herself against that 200-pound thug. She'll be able to protect herself against several 200-pound thugs, where previously she might not be able to. Seniors are precious. We don't want to see our seniors harmed. What better way for them to protect themselves than to be able to conceal carry? So, what Michigan is doing by freeing up these laws is making it easier for everyone, especially our most vulnerable, our seniors, to protect themselves.